What's going on YouTube? So I wanted to talk a little bit today about Greta Thunberg and climate change in general. For those of you that don't know, Greta Thunberg is a 16-year-old Swedish girl that is over in the United States to talk about climate change and about how we're all going to die. So, that being said, Greta has suffered from numerous mental defects throughout her life. She is autistic. She has obsessive compulsive disorder. She's battled with depression since she was 8. And I know that kind of sounds like I'm trying to poison the well right now, but I'm not. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to say I feel bad for her, because right now she has all these problems. She is being absolutely bombarded on social media, directly making fun of her for it. You know what I mean? She only believes in climate change because she's autistic, and terrible things like that. Now, I think that this girl, she's been fed this narrative since she was about 8, and she ended up getting depressed because of it. In fact, there was one point in time where I guess she didn't eat for 2 months, 2 months straight, something like that. Absurd. I didn't even know you could go that long, but apparently she did. And now she's being thrown out into the public eye instead of being in school and trying to live a normal life. And she feels compelled. I really think that she is trying to do good things. She comes out very abrasive, and she's trying to browbeat people into it, and that's not going to work. The only people that she's winning over are people that already agree with her, right? So who cares? They already agree with you. When you come out to a group of people, right, and you try to talk about an issue, you can't start with y'all are retarded, and I'm going to tell you why. Because people reject that, right? It's almost like the Dunning-Kruger effect. We all like to think that we're smarter than we actually are, and those of us that are actually smart don't realize to what level of intelligence they actually have. But people don't like being told that they're ignorant on a subject. There's nothing wrong with being ignorant on a subject either. All that means is you don't have any knowledge about it. It's not an actual insult to your intelligence. Like, I'm ignorant to a lot of things. You know what I mean? I'm ignorant to welding. You should see some of my welds. But there's been quite a pushback and a push for this individual since she's come to the U.S. to talk at the UN. She gave her speech at the UN where she basically told everybody that they're either stupid or evil, and she's really trying hard not to believe that they're evil, so we must all be stupid. And that if we don't give in to her list of demands, she will never forgive us. Boo-hoo. Because up until about 2 weeks ago, I never even knew who this person was. Now, I'm not a climate change denier, right? I think the science is there, and I'm not a scientist, so who am I going to rebuke? You know what I mean? I have no authority to do so. So I'll accept the data, right? Where my skepticism comes in at is exactly how much of an impact are we having? And I haven't had anybody prescribe or sit me down and show me in detail exactly to what amount is human caused, other than the normal, it's all human caused, and you must be a Nazi that wants all of our future generations to die because you don't want to acknowledge this and stop driving cars and flying jets and having AC in the summertime. You're a Nazi, because that's where we're at nowadays, right? So and I'm totally willing to have those conversations with people, but I haven't had that conversation. So I'm not a climate change denier. I think it's kind of obvious that if you take all this stuff and you're burning it and putting it in the atmosphere, That's not good, right? I think we should all be against pollution, dumping toxic sludge in lakes. If your rivers are setting on fire, it's probably a bad thing. I don't think that those are controversial points, and we should all try to get on with life while taking care of the environment around us. You know, I mean, look at China. China totally polluted half of its country, and now they have to import food because they can't grow anything there. I think that we should take care of what we've been given and what we're living in. But am I willing to completely kneecap the economy in order to do that? No. And here's why. It's simple, really. It's selfish, right? We're all very selfish creatures, just naturally. A human being is a selfish animal. And I'm not willing to plunge myself and my family into poverty, where we might die from poverty in order to save the polar bears, right? I don't live in Miami. I don't care if it floods, right? They can move. Don't live in New Orleans beneath sea level on the coast. And I know that that's selfish, right? A lot of people think that is like a horrible thing to say, and it is, but it's just the truth, right? I'll be honest about it. The Earth surviving over 100 years from now doesn't mean much if my family doesn't survive right now because we died from hunger, right? If the world order breaks down because the entire world's been thrown into poverty, and now there's roaming bands of murderous rape gangs going around stealing the little bit of food that people have, because that's what happens in third world countries in extreme poverty, right? Is extreme exploitation and violence, right? Then me saving the penguins didn't amount to much. I don't care about them, right? But what I am willing to do is have a conversation about how we can not only keep the environment around us safe and habitable, right? But how we can do that while not destroying our economy, right? Because the only solutions I've seen so far is destroy the economy, right? You guys are a bunch of evil capitalists, and you guys just want to keep your money flowing in and all that. Well, yeah, we like money, right? Money makes the world go round, but that doesn't mean we like it so much that we're not willing to listen on some things, right? But you can't just expect us to completely go back to the Stone Age in order to do this, right? That just does not compute. People won't jive with that. So what you need to do is come out with a plan to have actual discussions where it's not just a zero-sum game of all or nothing, right? But where can we tone back some things, right? Where can we promote innovation into technological fields that might address CO2 emissions in the air, water vapor in the air? Because apparently, if I'm not mistaken, that's one of the bigger ones, is actually water vapor in the air. So it's almost like a positive feedback loop of well, the earth gets hotter, so it evaporates more water. Water goes in the air, makes the earth hotter, so the earth evaporates more water. You know what I mean? I've heard some pretty nuanced ideas about it. I've even had one or two, but we're never going to get those ideas out if we don't have a discussion. So how can we move forward having a discussion about keeping the environment healthy while also not just taking a dive into the deep end of the pool, you know? Everybody just needs to have a cool, calm, collected head about this, and we might make some progress. And don't come at me with some nonsense about banning cows and everybody has to turn vegan and we're going to rely 100% on solar panels, because no, we're not. Everybody is not turning vegan. It won't happen, right? We're not relying on solar panels. One, it would cost too much money. Two, the battery technology isn't even there. And three, you can't have that big of a you understand how much area it would take to fill up that many solar panels to handle America's energy needs? Does that like compute at all? Or are you just gonna use eminent domain to snatch all that land from people and then just have huge amounts of solar farms out there? Like, I mean, I guess you could, but would it even be enough? Like I said, the technology isn't there. So how do we go about promoting technology to where maybe we could get there? Maybe we start using a little bit more nuclear energy. I actually heard a pretty good idea on Joe Rogan of all people, hitting one out of the park. The guy acts like he's dumb, but he talked about desalinating seawater, right, by turning it into steam with nuclear energy, creating power, creating salt, and creating fresh water for people. That might be something to look into. Like I said, I'm not a scientist. I don't know exactly how easy that'd be able to do, but maybe it's something we could look into. But you can't just what's being proposed right now is preposterous. You're not going to get anybody on board, and the only people that are rallying your name already agreed with you. Time to think outside the box and stop playing just to the climate change cultists on your side. I get it's an important issue, but we can't lose our minds about it. Okay, so until next time, y'all take it easy.